Hey guys, welcome to Helios Staking. Today we're going to have a look at Helix. Helix is built on Injective. Obviously at Helios Staking we are validators for Injective, and Helix leverages the speed, the cost, the interoperability and the security of Injective to create a really efficient, really cost-effective trading environment, spot and perpetual markets. You can trade with the leverage for users. And we'll just dive in and have a little look. So I'm going to connect my wallet and go through the terms and conditions. Obviously, because Helix is decentralized, it's built on a decentralized platform, and it means that anyone with a Web3 wallet can log in. You don't necessarily need to prove your identity. You don't need to give them any personal data, which is really, really important. And it adheres to the overarching principles of decentralization, permissionless finance. So anyone can trade from anywhere on a wide variety of markets. So if we dive in, we'll have a little look. The market's available. You can swap. So this essentially just means you can trade from one token to another. And because of Injective's interoperability, there's the likes of Solana, there's likes of Celestia, there's Cosmos, there's Kava, there's Sommelier, there's some stables in there as well, some wrapped Ethereum and Injective. And then there's by Ondo Finance, USDY, which is essentially tokenized US Treasury assets. Really interesting, the first in the world to be tokenized on blockchain, the first Treasury assets to be tokenized on blockchain, which is really interesting. The ability to bring real world assets on chain is really going to open new possibilities for liquidity and the markets. If we look here as well, when we go in, you'll be able to go spot, use the order book, so you'll be able to set like limits that you'd like to. If you say are looking at Injective, we'll look it up here when the chart loads. But say you're looking at the chart and you go, okay, I'd like to buy Injective at $15. I think it's going to get to $15. I want some Injective. I don't want it now, but I like it when it gets to $15. You can set a limit order to buy Injective when it gets to $15 for whatever amount that it is you'd like to buy. So we might like to buy one Injective, and that will be $15. I don't have any USDC or USDT in the wallet right now, so I can't set that order. But essentially, you can do that for any spot market available on Injective. If we look through the spot markets, there's Celestia, there's Ethereum, there's Injective, there's Cosmos, Matic, a new token called Whale, staked Injective, Solana, and then USDT bridge from Kava. As well as that, what you're able to do on Helix is you're able to trade perpetual markets. So this is probably the most interesting. You're able to bet on the future price of assets, and you're able to trade with leverage. So let's say you think Injective will go Injective USDT perp market. You're able to similarly, you can either buy market, so you can buy a perpetual contract at the price, the current market price, or you can set a target price. So like we were saying, $15, and you can set an amount that you'd like to go with, and you can trade up to 5x leverage, depending on the available liquidity in the platform. Essentially what this does is it amplifies your position by the amount of leverage you select. So if you enter a position of $100 with 5x leverage, it essentially means the profits you'll derive from your position are that as if you had $500. But similarly, the losses you'll derive from your position are as if you had $500. So your gains will be amplified by 5 times, and your losses will be amplified by 5 times, based on the initial capital that you provide. So it's really important to manage your risk appropriately, understand these risks when you enter the position, and then just manage your portfolio and manage your capital appropriately, so that you don't get liquidated, or at least you limit the risk of getting liquidated. We're going to have a little look. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to deposit some USDC in my account, and then I'm going to show you how to set up your first trade on Helix. So here I am, I'm swapping some Injective that I loaded into my wallet for some USDT. So I'm going to swap almost one Injective for a little over $15. As that's swapping here. And when it swaps, I should have it available in my account to open a position. So if we head back to the... So now we're going to have a little look at how to open a position on Helix. So we're going to open a position on the Injective USDT perpetual market. I'm going to open up with about 50% of my capital, which is a little under $8, and I'm going to open my position with 2x leverage, which means that 778 is essentially going to be worth almost $16. So my profits will be as if I put $16 in, and my losses will be as if I put $16 in. But that means once the position moves a certain amount downwards, there's a possibility that I'll lose my capital, because I'll no longer have supplied enough capital to cover the position that I've opened and cover the losses that I've made. So they'll take my capital to pay the people who've opened opposing positions. So here we go. I'm going to open my position. And then from the bottom here, in open positions, you're going to be able to monitor your position. Entry is the price that you got in at. Mark is the price that the oracles are providing, or that the platform is maybe bringing in from the people who aggregate the data. So for Injective, it's actually Python Network who aggregate the data. They're the oracle providers for Injective. We've got the liquidation price, which is the thing I talked about. If the price moves downwards to 882, in our case, all our funds will be taken away, because we'll know if it goes any further down from that, we're not going to have enough capital provided to the platform to pay our position. So if we were to close our position, there wouldn't be enough funds to cover people who've opened opposing positions. And then this is if we were to close our position right now, what our profit and loss would be. So hopefully this video gives you a good overview of Helix, gives you a good overview of understanding how to open a trade and how to monitor your position. Very basic. I'm not going to give any specific trading advice in this video, but yeah, we'll definitely cover a little bit more in the future. But this is just a basic introduction as to how to use Helix, a little bit of a basic introduction as to why Injective is such a great blockchain for Helix to be built on, thanks to its speed, thanks to its cost, thanks to its interoperability, and thanks to its security. Yeah, and it shows how easy it is to open and monitor your positions. And it's definitely worth having a little look around, understanding what it is. But I would say, before playing around with leverage trading, really do a little bit of research, do a little bit of understand the risks associated with it. It can be very beneficial to your DeFi strategy if you understand how to implement it properly, but also obviously comes at risks if mismanaged, because losses can be amplified significantly. So risk management and understanding what you're getting into when you're opening positions is very important. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you on another video again soon.